It's no surprise that I've not been a fan of Jean Grey or the Dark Phoenix saga. And if Logan taught us anything, it's that the third attempt is the charm. So maybe this is the one. X-Men Dark Phoenix opens up in 1992, so just to keep you updated, the movie's starting... Oh, who gives a shit?
I can't hold it any longer.
But the X-Men are now widely accepted by the public. However, during a routine mission to rescue some astronauts, Jean Grey is suddenly attacked and taken over by a strange cosmic force known as the Phoenix. Even though Jean already had the Phoenix powers in the last movie, I mean, she was having bad dreams, she thought something terrible was going to happen, she used the Firebird powers against Apocalypse. No? You're just going to pretend none of that happened? Alright, fine by me.
You like it, don't you?
Anyway, now that she's possessed, Jean goes on a rampage and, oh, f*** it, we know the drill. Jean goes ape shit. The X-Men try to stop her, they have a big fight. Can we just get this over with so I can go home? Guess I am home when I'm filming. Shut up!
Are you sure about that?
After the fan backlash to the Phoenix subplot in The Last Stand, writer Simon Kinberg admitted that he wasn't happy with how the movie turned out. Shocker!
There.
Yes.
And he always hoped that he would get to do the Phoenix saga properly. When Days of Future Past retconned the original timeline of the series, if that mattered to anybody at this point, Kinberg realised that he now had the chance to finally do the iconic storyline justice, because Christ forbid this franchise not recycle ideas it's already failed at. Kinberg started work on the script for a fourth X-Men prequel in late 2016 and originally planned to keep the script much closer to the original comic. His first draft would have included the Hellfire Club from First Class returning as the villains, but this was scrapped in later drafts, and their role in the script was replaced by the Skrulls. However, this was changed again during the film's reshoots to a race of aliens called the Dabaru. In fact, the script changed so often that Jessica Chastain, who played the main villain, wasn't even told her character's name during shooting, and didn't find out until she saw the finished movie at its premiere. And what is this character's name, you might ask? This evil villain with this sinister plan? Vuck. As in, what the vuck were they smoking?
What are you talking about?
The project then became further jeopardised when Bryan Singer was fired from the director's chair by Fox after the critical and financial disappointment of Apocalypse, thus necessitating a new director. Oh, so raping a minor, treating everyone like shit, and having more sexual allegations than Weinstein, Polanski and Cosby combined, that was all fine, but make a commercial flop? Away with you!
It's funny.
There were also problems regarding the casting, as many of the older actors were only contracted to star in 3 movies and weren't exactly jumping at the idea of doing a 4th. However, when it was announced that Kinberg himself would be taking over as director, this was enough to convince them to return out of loyalty as they loved working with him so much. And considering Magneto was almost in his 60s now, they decided to bring back Ian McKellen and just kidding! No! Michael Fassbender is still Magneto! What's that? Makeup? De-aging? CGI? No! Don't need it. Look, he's in his 60s.
That's never gonna happen.
Filming finally began in June 2017 and wrapped that October, with the movie scheduled to be released on November the 2nd the following year. However, due to poor test screenings, the movie was pushed back into production in order to reshoot the entire third act, and the release date was delayed until February the 14th, 2019. Unfortunately, they realised that this movie was so it would probably ruin every guy's chances of getting laid on Valentine's Day, so the release date was pushed again to June, as the studio wanted to avoid major competition with Alita Battle Angel, and also felt that the later release date would lead to a better box office performance overseas. Guys, I'm not superstitious, but I think the universe was really trying to tell you something. I hate when people don't take the hint when they struggle to get a superhero movie off the ground.
Do I want to know?
In the end, X-Men Dark Phoenix was finally charted into cinemas on June the 7th, 2019, and to the surprise of absolutely no one, it was a complete disaster. It became the first movie in the franchise not to open at #1 at the box office, and against its $200 million budget, it only grossed $253, making it the biggest box office bomb of the year and losing Fox an estimated $133 million. To make matters worse, it also ended up being the worst reviewed film in the series for its plot, characterization, and its adaptation of the Phoenix storyline, though the performances and Hans Zimmer's musical score did get some praise. Chris Claremont, who co-wrote the original Phoenix storyline in the comics, was also heavily critical of the film, stating, "My problems with both iterations of Dark Phoenix on screen is I don't think you can do it effectively in 90 minutes. You can tell a good story in that time frame, which I think Simon did, but I think it's not the evocation of the story that Dave and John and Paul and I created. Nah, I'm glad this one was short."
It's really cool.
Even Simon Kinberg himself didn't like the finished film, and he even took full responsibility for its poor reception. When a movie doesn't work, everybody points fingers at everybody else. I'm saying when a movie doesn't work, put it on me. I'm the writer-director. The movie didn't connect with audiences. That's on me. Fair play for honesty.
That's right.
Prior to the movie's release, it was actually planned to be the beginning of yet another trilogy, this time focusing on the even younger members of the cast. But after its commercial failure, as well as the merger between Disney and Fox, these plans were promptly scrapped and the rights to the X-Men characters finally reverted back to Disney and Marvel Studios. And hey, a future hero's parents died right at the start of the film. I'm not sure about you, but I've never seen this before, so huge props for creativity. And only the ginger survives the car crash. Man, life can be so unfair sometimes. Also, this is Young Hope from Legacies. Yeah, these films have a really bad trend of starring people from Vampire Diaries spin-offs. It's cool to see Quicksilver back and he does his thing and it looks... This film is
Are you okay with this?
I forget sometimes you can read minds.
And I also have to remind the invisible audience. Not only do I find the entire movie pointless because they've already covered this exact story in part 3, but it's another dragged out story about Jean. Who cares about Jean? She's so boring and Cyclops still isn't a Cyclops. Oh, and Jean still can't act to save her life. It seems redundant to even say at this point.
Get out of my head.
Is it just in the job description? Oh, you want to play Jean Grey? Do you have any talent whatsoever? No? Well, step this way. I hope you get invested in the subplot about Jean Grey and her goddamn dad. It's the same film, but even more boring. Everyone tries to reach Jean. They've made the same movie twice. Eric tries desperately to get us to believe that Jean is important. It doesn't work. She's Jean. She's their Hawkeye. Hawkeye's better.
You're looking for Jean.
Why? That's the thing. I don't even have that much to say about this one. It's just another boring story about Jean. There's not a lot to it. It's bloody Jean! But God bless McAvoy. He's really trying his best. That's the baffling thing. Fassbender and McAvoy really give it their all, but it's still so many movies about the most boring character ever put to screen.
And by the way, the women are always saving the men around here. You might want to think about changing the name to X-Women.
I mean, hasn't Logan saved you all countless times? In Days of Future Past, isn't it a bunch of men trying to stop a woman from f***ing up the entire world? In part 3, a woman goes on a murdering spree! Speaking of which, Lawrence is dreadful in this. She was already in the previous ones, but in this one she looks comatose. So Jen, I want you to look at the camera like you're about to sneeze, but can't quite get it out. And... action. Hell, she gets killed off about 40 minutes in, and the bitch still doesn't emote! You're dying! I don't even care. I felt nothing. The dog. Hope it hurt. Get in the chopper! That was a real line in an X-Men film.
You're always sorry, Charles, and there's always a speech. But nobody cares anymore.
I don't even think that was in the script. I think Michael Fassbender just reached his breaking point and decided to let loose. But isn't it a great moment when we see Jean make Charles walk? Except for all of the other times that we've seen Charles walk. She's just such a generic villain. Look at her, it's Dark Willow from Buffy, for crying out loud.
Stop it, you're going to kill her.
And nobody will care.
I would never do anything intentionally to hurt her. That isn't me, and this is not Jean.
And what exactly is Jean? It's been like 10 movies and we still know nothing about her. What's she all about? What's her goals? What's her favourite colour? What's her Nando's order? Tell me anything. Your guess is as good as mine. Oh, look, it's a superhero movie with a fight on top of a train. This is brand new. Never seen this before. Yeah, eat my arsehole until you choke. Nobody cares about Jean as much as you people seem to think they do. Stop trying to get us to give a shit about Jean. This is like if they did a whole Harry Potter movie about Hermione's uncle. Why not? Oh, it's Uncle Tim. Tim Granger. He's a plumber down the street. Let's talk about Tim. It's just the same generic visuals from every other superhero movie ever.
I know who I am now. I am not simply what others want me to be.
Entertaining? And of course she sacrifices herself to save everyone and they rename the school after her because these arseholes still insist that we care about this stupid... I don't even care anymore. There's nothing to say. This movie sucks. It more than sucks. Like, if a movie sucks in this franchise, I'm just kind of like, alright, well, I don't like the franchise anyway, so you're dead to me. I feel nothing. I watched Origins, I felt nothing. There was no pain, there was no disappointment, there was no misery. But Dark Phoenix, right, they already made this film. And it was shit. It's called The Last Stand, which wasn't The Last Stand, you bunch of liars, but they made The Last Stand. And they were like, wow, this is a pile of shit. And then the writer said, oh yeah, we could do better. And then just wrote the same screenplay. They Home Alone 2'd this motherfucker. And they made it worse. They spiraled this motherfucker. That's what they did. They did the same film twice. And they thought, well, you know what? F*** it, Jurassic Park have made the same movie 7 times. They keep making a shit ton of money. We can do it too. But instead, they made it worse. They made so many movies trying to get us to care about this stupid redhead who should just be Red Dead with no redemption. I don't even know how to describe it. It's indescribably bad. Everyone goes off about Origins. Nah, this is next level. Origins is Shawshank, and this is... This is the worst one. There is no contest. I think after 10 movies, I'm just numb to this franchise. It's bullshit. The story is flat, the characterization is non-existent, the action is cliched. Even the acting, which is always the saving grace of the previous movies, just doesn't work because everyone looks so tired and uninterested, and who can blame them? It's the cinematic equivalent of being made redundant. You know things are coming to an end, but you just gotta plow through the motions until you finally let go. It's a complete waste of time for everyone involved, and it's far less than these iconic characters deserve. It just leaves you with an empty feeling inside. The movie ends, you see the credits roll, and you're like, huh, well, that happened. I should now put together a will before I throw myself off this bridge that they're probably filming an action scene on! And honestly, doesn't this sum up the series perfectly? As far as bad franchises go, I can't say that this is the worst I've come. It's not as infuriating as the Saw franchise, it's not as inconsistent as the Halloween movies, it's not as incompetent as the DCEU films, but there's just nothing for you to sink your teeth into. Outside of 2 exceptions, they're not good enough to be genuinely worthy of praise, but they're also not bad enough to make you angry, except this one, or provoke an interesting discussion, or even just be fun to laugh at. They're just bland, boring, middle-of-the-road superhero movies. And honestly, it's genuinely a shame because I wanted to love these. I wanted to be passionate about them. I wanted to enjoy them as much as everybody else. And movies like Logan and Days of Future Past and even the Deadpool films prove that you can make a fun, action-packed and even heartfelt story within this world and with these characters. Maybe one day the X-Men will finally get an adaptation worthy of their name, but for now at least, this dated, wearisome, mediocre sludgefest of a franchise is the best we can hope for. And somehow, some way, we're not even done.